Imagine waking up tomorrow. Every dollar in your bank account is worth less than it was yesterday. Not because someone stole it, but because that's exactly how the financial system works. The rich know something most people never discover. Cash isn't wealth. In fact, keeping too much cash can quietly make you poorer every single year. While everyone else saves money, the wealthy are busy buying something completely different. The surprising part? They don't hate cash. They just know its real job. Cash is only a vehicle. Assets are the destination. And this idea changed history. To understand why, we need to travel back thousands of years, long before banks, long before dollars, even before coins existed. People traded value, not money. But barter had one enormous problem. What if the baker wanted fish, but the fisherman didn't want bread? Trade slowed, businesses couldn't grow. Entire economies became trapped by coincidence. Then came one of humanity's greatest inventions: money. For the first time, everyone trusted the same piece of metal. Trade exploded. Cities became larger, empires became richer. But the smartest merchants noticed something everyone else ignored. Coins sitting in a chest earned nothing, but coins invested into ships could return 10 times more. One voyage could create fortunes or destroy them forever. Risk became the price of wealth. The richest people weren't collecting money, they were putting money to work. Money stopped being the goal. Ownership became the goal. That single realization still separates the wealthy from almost everyone else. Thousands of years have passed, but the rules haven't changed. If you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe for more stories like this. What was the most surprising fact so far? Let me know in the comments below. Around the 14th century, another revolution quietly began. Not with kings, but with bankers. Families like the Medici didn't become powerful because they owned the most gold. They became powerful because they controlled where money flowed. Imagine owning the bridge that every merchant had to cross. That's what banking became. Every loan generated income, every repayment made the bank stronger. Cash was no longer sitting still. It was constantly moving. Creating even more money. This is the first secret wealthy people understood. Money has to move. Then came something even more powerful: ownership without doing all the work yourself. Instead of selling products, they owned the businesses selling them. Every customer who walked through the door made the owner richer. This changed everything. People stopped working only for money and started making money work for them. Centuries later, the Industrial Revolution multiplied this idea. Factories replaced handmade production. Productivity exploded. Those who owned factories became wealthier than kings. Workers earned wages. Owners earned profits. One pays for today, the other builds tomorrow. And from that moment on, the world's richest families stopped chasing cash. They chased assets. So where does rich people's money actually go? Not under a mattress, not in a giant bank account. Instead, their money is spread across assets that continue working while they sleep. Think of cash as a worker. If that worker sits in a chair all day, nothing gets built. But give that worker a job, and everything changes. This is called an asset, something that produces more value than it costs to own. A rental property collects rent, whether you're awake or on vacation. A successful business earns money every time a customer makes a purchase, and a stock represents ownership in companies doing the work for you. The wealthy don't simply save money. They buy tiny pieces of productivity. Now here's the part most people never realize. Inflation quietly reduces the buying power of cash. The number in your account stays the same, but what it can buy keeps shrinking. That's why wealthy investors don't ask, "How much cash do I have?" They ask, "What is my money doing today?" Because idle money slowly loses power. Working money can grow. That doesn't mean rich people never keep cash. They do, just not more than they need. Cash gives flexibility. Assets build wealth. The balance between those two is where financial freedom begins. The richest investors understand one simple truth. Cash is a tool, not the destination. And history has rewarded those who used that tool wisely. But if assets are so powerful, why do billionaires still keep billions in cash? Because every opportunity begins with liquidity. History proves it again, and again, and again. Whenever fear takes over, prices fall, businesses become cheaper, homes become cheaper. Even great companies can trade at lower prices. Most people panic. The wealthy prepare. They don't celebrate crashes. They prepare for them. Cash becomes most valuable when everyone else desperately needs it. That's why experienced investors don't try to predict every crisis. They build systems that survive them. The goal isn't to avoid every storm. It's to own a ship strong enough to sail through it. Another secret of wealth: leverage. Used wisely. Leverage allows investors to control larger assets without paying every dollar up front. Used carelessly, the same leverage can destroy fortunes. That's why successful investors respect risk, even when times are good. The richest people aren't fearless. They're prepared today. Wealth doesn't just travel by ships. It moves through fiber optic cables, satellites, and data centers. The tools have changed, the principle hasn't. The wealthiest people don't own more cash. They own more productive assets. Every day, those assets continue producing value, even while their owners sleep. Cash protects you for today. Assets prepare you for tomorrow. That's why wealth isn't measured by how much money you hold, but by how many things are working for you. One rental home, one business, one investment. Repeated over years, that's how ordinary fortunes become extraordinary. Not overnight, but over decades. History rewards patience, more often than speed, because compounding is quiet, until it isn't. Tiny decisions, repeated consistently, change everything. And that is the real reason rich people rarely keep large amounts of cash, because cash is temporary. Ownership is lasting. The goal was never to collect money. The goal was always to own what creates it. That's the lesson merchants discovered centuries ago, and investors still follow today. The tools evolve. Human behavior doesn't. Fear still creates opportunity. Patience still builds wealth. And every generation gets the same choice: keep your money frozen, or put it to work. The decision seems small today. Its impact can last a lifetime. History has already shown the outcome. The question is, which path will you choose? Because wealth rarely belongs to those who simply keep money. It belongs to those who make money productive. Remember this: cash is a tool. Ownership is the engine. And the habits you build today can shape the opportunities you have tomorrow.
Thanks for watching.